Call to order the City of Dunkirk Common Council meeting for December 18th, 2018 at 5:30 p.m. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Councilmember Bamanto will be absent this evening.
Councilmember Heenan.
Here.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Here.
Councilmember at Large Washington.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Certification of the prior meetings.
This is to certify that an official copy of the minutes of the Common Council meeting of Tuesday, December 4th, 2018 was presented to the mayor on Tuesday, December 11th, 2018. Pursuant to Section 3.03 of the Dunkirk City Charter, all items presented to the mayor are now in full force and effect. In witness whereof I have hereto set my hand and the seal of the City of Dunkirk, New York, this 18th day of December 9th, 2018.
I need a motion dispensing with the reading of the minutes.
So moved.
Councilman Williams with the first.
Second.
Councilman Civiletto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Washington.
Aye. Reading of the privilege of the floor regulations.
The privilege of the floor shall be extended to any person appearing for themselves, in which case the individual shall be limited to 3 minutes, and to any person representing a group who shall be limited to 5 minutes. When recognized, please stand and state your name and address. The city clerk shall have the duty of maintaining such time limits, and the councilman at large may determine in his discretion whether individuals are speaking for themselves or representing groups. Councilman at large Washington shall maintain good order and may require any speaker to cease speaking if remarks are made in bad taste or are slanderous or non-germane to any action taken or contemplated by council. The time limits specified shall be strictly adhered to, except that a speaker may be allowed to complete a statement or thought started before such time has expired.
With that said, privilege of the floor is now open. If anybody wishes to speak, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address. Privilege of the floor is now open. If anybody wishes to speak, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address.
Hi, my name's Chantal Gatto. I live at 321 Robin Street, Dunkirk, New York. I'm just going to take this moment to make more of an educational thing. I do realize that because it's in front of Common Council, there's not much that you can actually do in this situation. Friday in school, 6th period, my daughter was changing in a locker room on the school premises, and another individual decided to take pictures of her changing. Although I've gone through the school and the other individual was suspended and whatnot, I was advised to press charges. When I went to the police station today, I was advised it would be a Class E felony, so I decided to make a statement. Although I made a statement, I just got off the phone in the hallway with the SRO officer from the school, and he advised me that being that I am not planning on going forward with charges, that there's not much the school can do to help me with the situation. So I'm going to, from now forward, get a hold of Dr. Tracy and go forward with trying to actually figure out a better situation for cell phone use in the middle school, high school, and grade schools. I do realize that a lot of individuals that go to the schools take their phones. I realize that parents use it as part of a babysitting type tool, but they're not being controlled very well at this point when people are having pictures taken of them while they are changing in locker rooms. So this is just kind of an informational thing as where I'm going to go forward from here to try to make some changes in some of the policies in the school based on the situation that happened with my daughter on Friday.
Okay. Thank you, Jeanette. As you stated, there's obviously nothing that the council can do. It's out of our jurisdiction. But if at any point in time you feel a need to sit down and speak with Chief Ortolano, I'm sure he'd be more than happy to sit and speak with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette. Anybody else wishing to take advantage of privilege of the floor, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address. Anybody else wishing to take advantage of privilege of the floor, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address. Seeing none, privilege of the floor is now closed. Communications from the mayor, including disapproval messages. Mayor, the floor is yours.
Mr. Chairman and Council, I just have a couple of announcements as well as a couple updates and a proclamation to deliver today. Today, Governor Cuomo announced the 2018 Consolidated Funding Application Awards, and I'm very happy to announce that the City of Dunkirk has been awarded for 3 grant projects. The first one is in the amount of $225,000 towards the Great Lake Grand Prix boat races. This is part of the Isle of New York campaign. I'm very proud of our development team. They put together a really good proposal, and it appears now that we will be included in the Isle of New York campaign. This amount is for 2 years, and we look forward to continuing that funding support from the state. The second, and this one again is something I'm very excited about, is $500,000. This is not actually for the city, this is for the developers of our hotel project. This is towards the Dunkirk Wingate and Recreation Center project, which will feature a new 83-room nationally branded hotel, restaurant, distillery, beer garden, swimming pool, and outdoor recreation center, both facilitating existing tourist experiences and attracting new tourists to Chautauqua County. This again is the catalyst that we needed to move this project forward. We did make contact with the developer today, and he is going to be moving forward with this project. And the third one was in the amount of $73,155 to Chautauqua County in partnership with the City of Dunkirk, Village of Silver Creek, Towns of Hanover and Westfield, and the Chautauqua Watershed Conservancy to install 5 ADA accessible kayak launches. This project will advance implementation of the local waterfront revitalization program goals by increasing water-dependent recreation and public access to Chautauqua Lake and Lake Erie. I sincerely want to thank Governor Cuomo and New York State for recognizing the importance of these projects and for the funding the revitalization of the city of Dunkirk. These projects, again, the funding that comes in there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes from our development department, and I can't say enough about how proud I am of the work that they've done. Well, the other thing is I just wanted to update the council that the Seal Street project is pretty much completed now. We're very proud to have completed that project. There was some infrastructure things that were done there with water lines and bringing fire protection to these residents who did not have any fire protection, as well as the paving of the road. So we're very proud to have completed that project here. I'd also like to announce that the LED project that we've been working on for almost 2 years now is finally going to implementation. We signed the contract yesterday, and again, this is a project that is being funded also with funds from New York State. So we are very proud to be the municipality starting this type of a project in New York State. New York State is looking at this project as a model for other municipalities across the state. So they are monitoring the progress of this project. And I'm proud to announce that LED Solutions president is here with us today. If you recall, part of the project was that we would be receiving an incentive of $100,000 upon signing. We signed yesterday, and the president is here to present the check to us. At this time, I would like to call up President of LED Solutions, Steve Holtz.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me okay. On behalf of LED Energy Solutions, we would just like to have a note to the city, just so everyone is understanding of the information that the mayor just eloquently introduced. Mayor Wilfred Rosas and LED Energy Solutions are pleased to have formed a partnership to provide energy and cost-efficient lighting throughout the city of Dunkirk with their facilities along with their streetlights. The city of Dunkirk has taken a lead role in becoming a smart city that will promote our efforts toward becoming a cleaner, greener community. This partnership was begun almost 2 years ago, and as a result, many thousands of dollars will be saved. Additionally, there will be no money being paid out of the city's coffers for this enhancement. The thousands of dollars in savings will actually pay for the project without hurting taxpayers. The initial interest rate for this project was 2.99%. However, through the negotiation efforts of Mayor Wilfred Rosas, the interest rate was reduced to zero. The LED lighting projects this LED lighting project aligns with New York State's Cleaner Energy Communities, that program which encourages New York State municipalities to complete at least 4 designated clean energy actions that will save energy, create jobs, and improve the environment, along with additional grants and funding. This is only phase 1 of energy savings platforms for the city of Dunkirk. Phase 2 will begin hopefully very soon, but that will also bring solar, geothermal, and HVAC into the equation. The accumulation of these energy-saving measures will create a result of net zero energy. And that is going to put the city of Dunkirk on target for future financial and energy savings for and meeting those energy requirements that will be in place by 2030. LED Energy Solutions is excited and proud to have been selected to work with Mayor Rosas on this energy-saving project. And we look forward to working with him, his administration, and the city of Dunkirk for many years to come. Thank you. And at this time, if we could have Robert, if you would be so kind to bring up the presentation check. Thank you, sir. Okay, and Mayor, I will. Next to you, sir, to have the unveil. Yeah, slide works. Good. Congratulations, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I do have a proclamation to give out to Gary and Patty D'Amico, the owners of P&G Foods. They are looking to retire, and the city certainly appreciates all the work, time, and effort that they've given to our community. The services that they've provided are certainly going to be missed. My office has received many calls from people concerned about who is going to be providing grocery deliveries and other services that they currently provide. So at this time, I would like to call up Gary and Patty D'Amico. And I just want to, again, congratulate them on the job well done, wish them the very best in their future. I do have a proclamation that I'll read. And it states, City of Dunkirk, Office of the Mayor, whereas Gary and Patty D'Amico have supported the City of Dunkirk and its residents for 25 years of service as owners and operators of P&G Foods, And whereas through their efforts, they were awarded Best Business in Dunkirk on 2 separate occasions. And whereas their services to our residents, visitors, and especially our senior citizens have been unsurpassed by providing bill paying and bus ticket services. And whereas they were innovators when it came to home delivery of groceries to our many residents. And whereas they have been good community partners and have given of their time and generous contributions to our city and many of our local and regional events. Now, therefore, I, Wilfred Rosas, Mayor of the City of Dunkirk, New York, do hereby proclaim December 18th, 2018 as Gary and Patty D'Amico Day in the City of Dunkirk, New York.
Well, we thank you so much. This came as quite a surprise when I got a call from Vicki. And, well, I'll tell you, like, our kids had our retirement party over the weekend, and I will say the same thing. This was totally unexpected, but very much appreciated. And we did work hard. We kept a good business going in Dunkirk, and now we're trying to market it so it doesn't sit empty. So, but for this, we really do appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everybody, Council.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Number 6, communications from the public and petitions.
Notice of claim from Michelle Crockett for damages caused when she allegedly fell at the city pier on August 11, 2018.
I need a motion to refer this to the Law Department.
So moved.
Councilman Williams with the first.
Second.
Councilman Civiletto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan?
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto?
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Washington?
Aye.
Number 2, request from the Juneteenth 2018 Celebration Committee to use Memorial Park on June 15th and 16th, 2019 for their annual Juneteenth celebration, also requesting assistance from the City Fire Department and Police Department, and for a monetary donation towards the cost of Juneteenth from the City of Dunkirk.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none, I will need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions.
So moved.
Councilman Williams with the first.
Second.
Councilman Civiletto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan?
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto?
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Washington?
Aye. Reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions. Councilman Williams?
For Randy, got a few different things. Doty Street between Roberts and Townsend, there's some pretty large potholes up there. Are the blacktop plants still open, or can we get some type of fill in there?
We're looking for a plant that's open. We will get that one way or another. So thanks for bringing it to my attention.
Still back on that fun light on Second and Roberts, is that programmed? And I think what the chief had said before was that going on Roberts was supposed to be green longer than Second, and that something on Second would trip something to make the light change. So are we working towards getting that program the right way now?
Our city electrician is scheduled to be getting trained on the new controllers, and that'll be the first one he does.
All right, do you know when he'll be trained?
I don't. I would say probably within a few weeks. When I know for sure, I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Also, on West Green Street, in front of house number 29 in the street, got a complaint that there's water that sits there when it rains, and I drove by. I didn't feel like a bump or anything in the road, but I did notice that in the street there were a lot of cracks and stuff to the pavement, probably caused from the water sitting there. I don't know if there's anything that we could do about it, if you could take a look at that.
Sure.
And on East Cedar Street, I guess they were down there to get leaves, and a lot of the millings from the end of that have been spread out all over on Cedar Street, according to what the gentleman said there, and he wanted to know if we could get the street sweeper down there to get that picked up.
Yep, be happy to take care of that.
All right, and then Our next DPW committee meeting will be the day after Christmas in the mayor's conference room. City council will be on WDOE Viewpoints this Thursday, 8:45. Welcome my fellow council members to join me over there. Also a question, I talked to Chief Ortolano earlier, but he said it's more a issue with the building inspector's office. On Moffett Street, there is a house there that has a garage that has a lot of cars that some are up on, the front of them are up on blocks and have been for a while. Some that don't seem to have license plates or anything with them, some that do have license plates. If we could have the building inspector, or if something with that is wrong, have a car go by and check it out. And I think that's about all I had. Since we were talking about the LED stuff, have we received anything yet on the solar and wind? I know we did had some type of report that we put in for to check on it.
I can give an update quickly on that. The Clark Patterson Lee has a contract to look at that. Rebecca's working on some things too. But I had, at the meeting at the North County Water District last week, I asked them to give me an update on that. They probably will be prepared to come to a DPW committee meeting and give a preliminary report on that. But we're looking preliminarily for solar at the water plant, new roof, and possibly wind at the wastewater plant. So those are two things that they're crunching the numbers on. And we'll interface with development and with LED solutions, and we certainly made a big step forward today with that as well. And if I could mention something about the first ward as well, you've got two new fire hydrants on Stagelski that are being activated this week. We got those as part of the water line for Athenix. There has not been really adequate fire protection in the Stagelski area for a while, but those two hydrants test out to be Class AA hydrants, which will be painted blue caps, the highest rating of a fire hydrant. And then the 5 new fire hydrants that the mayor mentioned on Seal Street went from Class D, which is unusable, 250-gallon a minute hydrants, also to Class AA hydrants, above 1,500 gallons a minute of fire protection for that residential area. And we also got 4 additional hydrants in the second ward on Willow as part of the North County Water District thing, and those also tested out. So we have almost 10 additional fire hydrants in the city, all testing out at the highest level. And I'd like to present the fire chief with the test results of those right here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hey, while we're talking fire hydrants, there's also one with a bag over it on Middle Road near Margate.
Don't take a look at it.
Okay. And that's all I have.
See, Randy, apparently the 10 brand new ones just weren't enough for Councilman Williams.
Well, some of them went to another ward, so.
Councilman Heenan?
Yeah, I've for Randy, and I just read an article recently that reminded me to ask Mr. Woodbury about obtaining possibly some contributions towards the windows for the dog shelter. And if that's something you'll be doing in the near future.
We were able to find some windows in stock with the city. It was for a project that was done a decade or so ago, and they were surplus. We checked around to make sure they weren't needed anywhere. So the mayor's impact team has those windows and are ready to install them at the dog shelter. So there'll be no cost for material for that, and we're geared up, ready to go.
Great, well, thank you very much. Yep. I remember that conversation during the budget. Also, for the people that live on Seal Street, I think the work was done in a very timely fashion. I know they still have some cleanup to do. When would the residents expect, and I'm not so much the grass being planted, but I know there's posts and that need to be replaced and some general cleanup.
Yeah. The contractor and the city water maintenance division, and I forgot to credit our water maintenance division for doing the flow tests and for doing some of that stuff. Right now, a couple of them are taking a couple of days off for the holidays. When they get it all back, they'll clean up what they can. The connections to the houses will be made in the spring. The mayor and I thought it was important that we get the fire protection to that area first. So we got that done right after we got the easement from National Grid to make the connection to the area that we worked at. Chief Edwards and I worked on that area about 20 years ago to get fire protection to the end of Seal Acres. We were able to take that fire protection and extend it down to Seal Street with the help of an easement from National Grid. So we did the fire protection first, the connections to the houses, rather than dig up the road in the wintertime. If you drive down Seal Street, you'll see plastic stubs. Those are where the connections are going to be for the houses. We're going to do that in the spring so we don't make such a big mess. So it's going to be a look about the way it is right now for the wintertime. And then when we get a chance to rake the topsoil and seed it, and everything will be cleaned up, the house connections will be made. And then the layer of pavement that's down there is the base layer. There will be a cover layer on top of that as well, and I think that Councilman Williams pointed out some areas in the second ward. I'd like to talk to Councilman Bomano about those areas too, and do a cover layer of a couple of streets over there and make it match. I think that East Green Street could use a cover layer, things like that. So there will be cleanup in the spring. The project will be finished for house connections, but most importantly, that area that hasn't had fire protection for 40, 50 years now has adequate fire protection.
Thank you. And it's not a major concern at all. I'm sure the contractor will be out there and replacing or repairing what they need. Is right at the bend there between Seal Street and Seal Acres where the posts have been pulled out so they could get their equipment back there. I'm going to guess that probably the next week or so, or right after the holidays, that'll be cleaned up.
Yeah, I tell you, I talked to the contractor just before this meeting for a couple other issues. There's a fire hydrant pointed in the right direction. They're going to take care of that. So I'll make sure that he puts those posts back too.
And of course, I'm asking these questions just so the residents know.
I understand.
This isn't a concern that I'm too worried about. I know it'll be taken care of. Okay, thank you, Randy. And I have a question for our city attorney. And just an explanation. I'm not looking to cause a ruckus here, and hopefully there's an explanation. November 6, 2018, we were supposed to, in the general election, the residents, the taxpayers were supposed to be able to vote on a 2-year and a 4-year term for council people. And I know that didn't happen, and I was curious why it didn't happen. And does this resolution, because of the date in it, have to come before council again next year along with another public hearing?
We held off because it wasn't a city election cycle year, and in consult with the Board of Elections, we thought turnout would be better and get a better response if we waited until there was a city election as part of the election cycle, so we held off until 2019 to put that on the ballot.
Okay, and then my question would be, what do we do with the resolution that says 2018?
We can just amend it retroactively.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That it, Mr. Heenan?
I'm all set, thank you.
Councilman Civiletto?
First, I'd like to thank Mr. and Mrs. D'Amico as a member of the City Council and also as a member of Rotary. Rotary always appreciated your help on Thanksgiving.
Who decided?
Getting together a lot of packages for underprivileged people throughout the city that we delivered, and you're going to be missed in Rotary and in the city. Thank you very much for all of your work. Just wanted to also talk about the Public Safety Committee meeting. We decided last meeting to hold it every other meeting or every other month. We'll have one in January, but we'll go every other month after that. And that's always on the second Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And I did have a question for Marcia. Marcia Beach. There's been some concerns about potentially losing the NRG taxes in the next 3 years, potentially. Are there any projects in the works that would maybe make up for some of these potential losses in the future?
Yeah. Okay, yes, definitely. Actually, I could answer that, probably to have a twofold answer for that. I know with the NRG, the mayor has been working with officials in Albany, with the governor, the senator, assemblyman, and even here locally with our county executive. And long before NRG even announced that they weren't going to reopen, they were already brainstorming and trying to decide what are we going to do if they do change their mind, basically. And I know we received a Appalachians Region grant to basically study that property, for possible repurposing or anything, just to check out that, property. So I think maybe the most important thing that the mayor had the foresight to do was to designate it as a BOA property, as a Brownfield Opportunities Area. And that really is just huge for any potential developer that might want to repurpose that, because of course they can apply to the federal government to get funds to help clean up any potential contamination there. So I think they've been in discussions for a long time. And then secondly, the city itself has been doing all kinds of things to start to save money, because we don't know that we're going to lose that transitional aid. I mean, we're operating like that we will perhaps lose it, but there's nothing to say we will. I know the mayor has been still keeping with his contacts in Albany and trying to continue that aid, at some rate, until we can get it repurposed and everything. But with the LED project alone, we were talking about the savings, like $250,000 a year that we're going to be saving each and every year, not just one year. Of course, the North County Water District, we've been selling water already, and that could be, build up to possibly $500,000 a year. So right there, $750,000, that we're going to be adding in revenue, and of course decreasing expenses. But also, just when the two major projects are finished, repairs and maintenance is going to go down. I know Randy had presented to us at one of our finance meetings that our chemical costs were going to go down substantially. So, we're already looking at close to $1 million in savings, and we're just getting started. So I know, like, Councilman Williams is big on the solar project, and again, with Steve's presentation, that'll be the next thing we do, and so we're just beginning to try to make sure that we have any potential loss covered. But I think we've made a great start, and we'll keep going.
And I also had another question about the 5% increase in the budget. I've had one or two people ask me about that and concerned about that. Just looking at numbers, that $1.1 million that we got towards the LED grant, that's almost 5% of our budget right there. So is that something that you expect, a revenue and an expenditure that kind of will make up for that 5% increase?
Yes, exactly. I always say, an increase in budget is not a bad thing. I mean, you just automatically think, oh gosh, our expenses are going up. Well, we always present a balanced budget. So if our expenses are going up, our revenue has as well. And as I just mentioned with the, North County Water District, those revenues are up. And again, the LED project, those grant funds are of course recorded in our budget, and the associated expenses, you're right. So those expenses are also recorded. We're always balanced. So any additional revenues that say are in excess, we put those in our contingency line. And I know, like, when we were going through the budget, I was very thrilled that we have over $688,000 in our contingency lines, and that's excellent. And Council, as well as I do, we don't plan on spending that, right? I mean, that's for emergencies. So I think that's a great figure to just put back, for safekeeping, and hopefully we won't use it. And so that's great. So an increase is a good thing for the city of Dunkirk.
Thank you. That answers my questions. I'm done.
Thank you, Councilman Civiletto.
Andy?
And if any, I'm sorry, Councilman Heenan?
I just had one more question for the city attorney. I guess I'd like to know who had the authority to actually overrule the date we had as council for the April 6, 2018 election cycle, and you used the term "we" decided, I believe, to do it next year because we thought there would be a better...
That was in conversation with the election commissioner, and so the administration decided, and some of the council members decided it was the thing to do.
I guess it was a surprise to me. When it didn't happen, I had not referred back to the resolution until just recently. I really don't know what to say to that. It's a resolution that was made by the council to the specific date of November 6th, and it wasn't carried through.
Would you want more people voting on that issue or less?
It doesn't matter what I say. It depends what the resolution says. It doesn't matter what I
Resolutions
specifically...
can be altered, modified, or amended at any time.
Well,
Anytime. It happens all the time.
well, then I think
Let's move forward.
that council should have been informed about it. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr.
Councilman
Chairman,
Dean.
can I just intervene? I've been privy to some of the information on this issue, and I can tell you that both sponsors of that resolution were contacted and informed of what they wanted, and they agreed that what they wanted was what the outcome turned out to be. Unfortunately, Councilman Heenan was not here when that resolution was actually passed.
When it was, I'm sorry,
When it was actually passed.
I was here when it was passed.
Is that right?
I've been to every meeting this year.
Okay, well,
I not missed a meeting.
my understanding is that you did not vote for it.
I did not vote for it.
Okay, well, the two sponsors of the resolution, of which one of them is here today, actually said that that's what they wanted to happen. And again, I'm telling you this because I was privy to some of that information.
We can do a retroactive resolution at the next council meeting, and if the council votes on it, we can retroactively approve moving it to 2019. That's not a problem.
Mr. Chairman, I feel, again, compelled to speak on behalf again of the administration. It appears to me that this is more of an accusation. The attorney did what he was told to do. He followed the orders of the sponsors of the resolution. Period.
Okay, to put this conversation to rest for the moment, I will say that November 2018 is in the past. Nothing much we can do about it at this point.
Thank you.
So whether or not it is a amendment to the resolution or something that we have to take differently or further or look into, we'll do that going forward. There's nothing that we're going to solve by it here this evening. So we'll look into it on a little bit deeper on the legal side, if we could, to get a square resolution to it all. No pun intended when I say resolution. But the date is passed, and there's nothing we can solve about it here this evening. So now that the concerns are out in the air, let's deal with it and move forward.
Again, Mr. Chairman, just to reiterate that this discussion took place and the decisions were made by council. So I don't believe there's any further discussion to be had.
Okay. Again, I'm stopping. We're going to move on. We can talk about it at a different time and place. With that being said, there is a finance meeting at 4 p.m. on Thursday, so if anybody has any questions for Marcia pertaining to her budget that she just discussed, that would be the time to bring them forward. Also, I would like to say thank you very much to the D'Amicos for your service to the city of Dunkirk and everybody over the last 25 years. I know myself, when I have run in there and said I need 30 turkeys to give to all my employees for Thanksgiving and I need them by tomorrow. You've helped me out. I know when I ran in there for roast beef platters for parties and things of that nature, you've come through for me on such short notice. You've been a great asset to the community, both of you, and I know your daughter used to work there in the past as well. So you guys are an A1 family and you're going to be dearly missed within the Dunkirk area. So thank you very much for your service. Unfinished business, number 8, seeing none, we'll move on to pre-file resolutions, number 117.
Resolution authorizing agreement to provide drug/alcohol testing, Lanford Testing and Consulting.
Any discussion, council? Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vorosha.
Aye. Number 118.
Resolution authorizing information technology services agreement, DFT Communications.
Any discussion, council? Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vorosha.
Aye. Number 119.
Resolution authorizing change for 1st January 2019 committee common council meeting.
Any discussion, council? Councilman Williams?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to amend the resolved to have it be on Thursday, January 3rd, instead of Wednesday, January 2nd.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Civiletto with the second. Clerk, please call the roll for the amendment to change it from Wednesday, January 2nd to Thursday, January 3rd.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vorosha.
Aye. The amendment passes. Now we will vote on the resolution as amended. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vorosha.
Aye. Resolution passes. Wednesday. Next council meeting will be Thursday, January 3rd, 2019. Any new business, walk-ins, department heads, anybody? Seeing none, motion to adjourn.
So move.
Councilman Williams with the first, Councilman Civiletto with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Heenan.
Aye.
Councilmember Civiletto.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Vorosha.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.